We're all here for the same reason, to make money online. We're all entrepreneurs, we're just in different stages of our business journey. Some of us didn't even start making our first buck. Some of us are solo entrepreneurs working on our own business, and some of us have even become CEOs of organizations that we've built from scratch. Hi, my name is Kfir, and since 13 years I'm an online entrepreneur. I serve as the CEO of the software company DSM Tool that creates advanced tools for dropshipping sellers and that helps beginners get started with their own dropshipping business. As a member of the online entrepreneurs community, I decided to go on a journey to meet up one-on-one entrepreneurs in different stages of their entrepreneurial journey. I want to hear their stories. I want to get inspired, and I want you guys to get inspired. I want to learn the how-tos, and I want to understand their struggles. And today I have a really special guest with me because he did a journey that is similar to mine. He started by doing e-commerce and then moved to the software industry. And today, just like I was a co-founder, part of the creation of DSM Tool, he founded and created SaleSource. So Kyle is with me today, and we're going to jump right into that very interesting interview. I just want to remind you before we jump into it that if you're watching this on YouTube, then please subscribe to the channel and like that video. If you're seeing it in the Facebook group, then move on to our YouTube as well and subscribe. And if you're listening to it as a podcast, then it's available on every podcast app that there is out there. And I would appreciate if you guys like that content, if you would give it 5-star reviews so we could promote our content on podcasts as well. All right, that's it on that. Let's jump right to the interview. So Kyle, people are listening to this show, and they're going to hear about your software company in the end, because I know that today you create this remarkable hopefully, I know I didn't fully test it, but it looks really, really cool from what I checked so far. This awesome software. But in this interview, we're going to try to go back to the origins and try to understand you as entrepreneur. But in order to make it trustworthy, I want to first start by asking you, what are you as entrepreneur, not your company specific, what is the lines of business that you have today that are generating money online?
So, nowadays, I just do SaleSource. So I'm full-time in it. I don't have to do anything else other than SaleSource. I've had some Kindle stuff that still makes money residually. But other than that, mainly I just do SaleSource. Full-time, 24/7.
That's so cool. This is the same story that I had when I started dropshipping, and then I started DSM Tool, and it blew up so crazy, and the software company took over my entire life, and that's what I started doing.
So SaleSource has, I think now, maybe 15 employees. So, I really just don't have the time to, branch out and do other things. At the same time, I do try and keep up with all the trends like Clubhouse, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, SaleSource is the main thing, and it's so time consuming. I'm sure you know. So that's all I'm doing, 24/7.
I love that you said that, because in every time that I start a show, I'm saying that as online entrepreneurs, we are everyone that are listening to this and everyone in the community are entrepreneurs, just in different stages of our business life. So some of us didn't do the first buck, that we're just listening and trying to learn. Some of us have already become full-time or doing it as side hustle, or became full-time doing it, but then still solo entrepreneurs. And there are also people like yourself, which have already become the CEOs of the organizations that they've built from scratch. It's pretty cool.
The interesting thing is, with dropshipping, some stores will not get any bigger than when you've created them and say they make 10K per month revenue, not profit, and then you can make another store maybe, and then another store. It does get harder to handle, but it's one of those things that some things just won't scale, and then you have to do more things, different hustles, different, forms of income. But with software, especially software companies, I think you can just focus on that. That can be a full-time job, because you think the different aspects of like an online business is a full-time job. Like for someone, for example, just handling the ads and marketing of SaleSource is now a full-time job for someone. You know, doing the back-end development is like a job for like 5 people. So, you know, the bigger things get, the more people you need to involve, and the less you can, you know, sort of split your focus.
I want to go back in a minute, or maybe in a few minutes. I want to go back to the origin story of yours, because you didn't start as a software entrepreneur. You
Correct.
started completely different, and me too. So I would love to share that story, and I think it will be very inspiring for people to understand how far you can take things when you become really professional at something. But before that, I want to ask specifically about SaleSource. I mean, what's going on? What is this amazing thing?
So yeah, I mean, SaleSource is intended to basically be the market research, the product research platform for e-commerce. It bridges the gap between this analytics thing where you don't know anything about any of these e-commerce businesses. You don't know, for example, what are the best-selling products, you know, how much money are they making, and that's kind of what we tell you, you know, how much are these stores making, what are the best-selling products, what products should you sell, which suppliers are the cheapest, kind of shedding a lot more light onto the grey parts of the industry that, you know, some people don't know what is the cheapest supplier. They don't know, am I getting a good deal for my money? They don't know who is successful, and they don't know what products, you know, they should be selling. And this is kind of what SaleSource does. It sheds a light and kind of gathers all of the data from the e-commerce industry and you know, allows users to browse that. So that is kind of the idea behind SaleSource. Currently, as you know, we're only really in Shopify. We do Shopify and we do it really well. So every single Shopify store, Shopify product, and AliExpress as well. But we really want to branch out in terms of the platforms, you know, to supporting WooCommerce first. That's the big one. In the next 6 months, we're going to have a big update supporting WooCommerce as well. And then obviously we can go to the rest of the platforms like Wix, BigCommerce, and then with the supplier side, you know, AliExpress is massive, but we want to also do independent suppliers, you know, USA suppliers, you know, independent people on Etsy who want their products to be, you know, sold from a third party in a dropship business model.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is kind of what we're trying to expand to.
Cool.
So, yeah.
And who is the ideal customer? Or I'll put a different
That's
perspective.
a really good question. You know,
Someone that starts, wait, let me finish the question.
Yeah.
If someone starts a dropshipping business, at which point of the journey of managing a dropshipping business do you need something like SaleSource?
I would say, you know, I'm surprised every single day by how many different types of people use SaleSource. So just to answer that question, I think beginners use SaleSource, people who already have a store use SaleSource, and people who run it like very big, very successful e-commerce businesses also use SaleSource. We also have agencies who do ads or development for Shopify using SaleSource. And then we also have suppliers from China and India and all of these countries actually use SaleSource to compete against the suppliers. So I'm I'm blown away. Like I never understood but there's so many people that use SaleSource. But the main person I would say is just somebody who has a Shopify store and is looking to find better products to sell. But you know, I'm really surprised by just the amount of people who use the tool.
I'm not surprised at all. I mean, it makes sense. You know, when I teach eBay dropshipping, then I tell people that there are a lot of people that start dropshipping on eBay or Shopify or what, just start dropshipping, and the way that they decide which products they're going to sell is based on, I think this is going to sell because I think it's a good product, or I think it's a cool product, or I think that I know this product, or anything that is not a data-driven decision.
Yeah.
And therefore, you cater the entire supply chain from manufacturing, not manufacturing, maybe, you know what, maybe even manufacturing, all the way to the dropshipper.
Just a bit, you know, just a bit further from manufacturing, like supply, like the people in China who use our product, you know, I think it just gets around with word of mouth. Like we're partnering. I don't know if you've heard of Hyper SKU. You know, they do. They're basically a huge Chinese company that does, you know, fulfillment basically for dropshipping business model. and they absolutely love our product. They're a huge client of ours. And specifically with that, we get so much good feedback with the tool because, I never envisioned that, I targeted one audience and these kind of people came automatically or kind of like by word of mouth. I never tried to market it to suppliers and they just came. So that was a surprising thing for me.
Interesting. Let's talk about Kyle, not about SaleSource. When did you make your first dollar online and how?
So I always thought, selling online was like a scam. Like I always thought that these make money online things were. I thought
There
it was
is a
all
lot of
scam
scam
to
in
be
the
honest.
industry.
Yeah, I know now. But before I just thought like, you couldn't do this. It was impossible. And like, I was always quite good with computers. Obviously, I have a programming background. But I thought in terms of the make money online thing, that you couldn't do it. So I started off doing something called Kindle Direct Publishing, right? And after actually being decently successful at that, I think I invested maybe $300.
What is decently successful?
Well, decently successful as in I didn't expect to make any money, and I made money. So I invested maybe $300, and from those ebooks, 2 ebooks that I published, I was making like $600 a month, and I'm still making money from them. Like 3 years later, which is not bad for something that I did in like 2 weeks as a student. I was like a college student back then. So when I actually really got into dropshipping, I was watching these videos and I figured out that there's this thing called dropshipping, and I was surprised that you could actually give those products and you never had to like stock them. I was like, can you really do that? Like, is that something that actually happens? I was like, what? So I thought I'd try it, and I started off with this store. It was actually a vegan clothing dropshipping store, and I did one offer, like it was free, just pay shipping, and obviously the shipping was like $10 or whatever, and it was this like vegan ring, right, on AliExpress. It was actually quite cool. It had like a leaf, there's like the ring, and then it had like a V on it, and the V at the end was like a leaf, and it had like a little green stone for like, green for plants.
I'm vegan, but less into vegan fashion, I have to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I thought that it would sell because this is just, one of the decisions that I made. I tried, with a store, I tried some Facebook ads, nothing was really happening. I gave the
And you're a developer, right? So you had some background. At least like building the website was easy for you. A lot of people that are getting started, they're like, how the hell am I?
I tried actually quite hard to actually make the store look really good. I used Boundless theme. And I did one shout out on one vegan page with a free just pay shipping, and I think I made $2,300 in the first day. So I spent $120 for the shout out, no, $100 for the shout out, and then I made $2,300 like revenue. Obviously, I had to from there it was just like a feeding frenzy. That store made like $30K in the first 2 months, $30,000. And I think I spent maybe about $6,000 total in like shout outs.
Are you telling me that your first attempt to make a dropshipping store was a huge success?
Yeah, correct.
No failures before that.
That is, I mean, it was
You
insane.
have some magic in your car. That's the only thing you could say.
But I mean, it was insane, and at that time, I didn't know that this was like possible. Like, I only knew it was possible when I did that one shout out. And it worked. Like, I stayed up all night, about 6 hours, watching like all the sales come in, and it just didn't stop. And I didn't know that it was actually possible until that moment. And then I was like, holy shit. At that point, I was like, oh, wow, I'm going to be like a billionaire, I'm good. But I was just a college student, I never really made any money. I had like one job before that, like some charity fundraising job that I did, on the street trying to get people to like sign up for charities. But I wasn't really aware of the way of making money. And I didn't know, this is the main thing, I didn't know you can apply tech skills to make money online. Like, I didn't know. I knew you could be like a developer and work for somebody else, but I didn't know that instead of making software, you could develop stuff in e-commerce and then make money. I had no idea.
Yeah, the marketing.
So then I sold that store for a good amount of money.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
In all of that starting, look... I find it hard to believe that there were no struggles in the way.
There were some struggles. Shall we get into it? So I really struggled with the fact that there was like 150 orders, and then I had to manually fulfill all of them. Because back then, there was nothing like that automatically fulfilled. I had to sit on my computer. I remember I brought my laptop into college, and while we were on the break, I couldn't focus on the lessons. I had to, like, you know, fulfill all the orders, like in the first, you know, few days and stuff like that. There was so much, you know, issues with like shipping, you know, products that, you know, didn't arrive. Mostly, I think I did a good job with that because I spent my money, I diminished, you know, my profit to about like 30%, 25%, just so I could get everybody the product really fast. So I spent, you know, my own money to actually get these customers the product to get faster shipping and stuff like that. And
So you lost money on that deal?
I didn't lose any money, but I lost, like, I did the profit. Profit could have been maybe 35, 40%, and it was more like 25, 30%. But I did that because I wanted the customers to have a good experience. And some of the customers came back like 3 times, spent like $400 on the store. So at the end of the day, you know, things worked out really well. Thinking back to it, you know, I decided that it was taking up so much time. And, you know, because it is really hard, and I started making a bit less money from the shout-outs that I was purchasing because, you know, you first shout-out, you know, second shout-out, but when you do shout-outs 30 days in a row, you know, your money starts to go down a bit, and I was just spending a bit too much time, so I decided to sell the store, but that's kind of not where it ended. That
How
was
do you
just my
sell a
first
store once you... How did you sell your store? How did you find someone to buy
So
it?
I went on the Shopify exchange, and obviously it shows how much money the store's made. So I think the average was like 20,000 a month. So obviously that was quite high, and then I got a buyer for that for a good, decent amount of money, like for somebody who's in college. And then I just kept the money, and then I started once I finished my college year in the summer. I started another store.
Okay.
And then from there, that's when I started specifically developing SaleSource. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it. I'm happy to answer any more specific questions that you have, you know, regarding the first 2 stores.
Yeah. I mean, were there any failures on the way? I'm sorry about that. I'm going to take it in a second. Were there any failures on the way?
Yeah,
Like stores that you started and didn't work, didn't become profitable, lost your money?
I started a store, interestingly enough, just in the summer, maybe kind of like as a joke, you know. I just started like some lingerie store, clothing store, and the guy who wanted to buy it, because it made like $500 in the first day, because I did the same tactic with the Instagram, you know, advertising. But the guy who bought it from me actually ended up paying me on PayPal, and I gave it over to him, which was a mistake because 3 months after, he ended up chargebacking, you know, what he paid for that store, and then I made no money off of that. Luckily, it was only
He got the money back?
Yeah, obviously it was a chargeback, so it was a direct chargeback, and he paid on PayPal, which was a mistake to me. I should have done it through the exchange. Then the third store I did after that, you know, was like this streetwear kind of clothing store, more into my interests. And I was just doing that as a side thing, and at this point, I was full-time developing SaleSource, just doing that on the side. The streetwear store was actually really good. It had a ton of products. It was very profitable, about 50% profit, and I actually used Reddit as the ad source for that. So I would bring in customers from Reddit and target like streetwear, you know, keywords.
How exactly did you do that?
So
What did you
ads,
technically do?
Yeah, okay. So Reddit ads was not used at all back then. Literally nobody used it. It was very basic as a platform, and it was dirt cheap. Like, it was so cheap. You could get like, I think you could get like 10 cents or 5 cents per click, which, you know, compared to what the clicks cost now is a fucking joke. So I put like a little image, like a square image of one of the products, one of the best-selling products, and I just said, interested in Japanese streetwear, you know, check out our store, da-da-da-da-da. And that was a super success. So that store was making about 15k per month, but the profit was like 55%. So I ended up keeping like a lot of the money and reinvesting it into SaleSource. I think I ran that for about 6-7 months until, you know, SaleSource was fully ready to go. And then I sold that one and then fully got into SaleSource. So yeah, that's my journey. I never really wanted to or never really was interested in scaling a dropshipping store to being really big. Now, I will admit maybe that's because I just didn't have the marketing skills to do that. But I always wanted to do like more of a, software style business, because that was my
You are
background.
a software engineer.
Because that's what my background is in. And I ended
Let's
up
talk
doing that.
about let's talk about that, because a lot of beginners would listen to that and they would say to themselves, well, he was successfully already in his first attempt. 99% of the people that start a Shopify store are not succeeding, definitely not in the first attempt, definitely not in the first minute. He's a developer, that's the reason. And I want to ask you, if I'm a beginner now and I'm not a developer, how do I increase my chances to make success already within the first attempt? And how much do you think the development background was part of your success, or was it something more in your character and not necessarily with your technical skills?
It's a good question, and I think the main thing for me is I have always had an eye for design and development and design. Some developers, let's be honest, have no design skills, and that's fine because that's not their job, right? But if you have design skills and also development skills, I think I just thought about how to make a really nice product, like a whole, looking at the big picture, right? And, having the development skills and the design skills makes it super easy or easier to do that. Obviously, I watched maybe 1 or 2 YouTube videos, but I never really took a course. I just used my instincts. And I think, versus doing that now, I probably would have done a bit more research and maybe gotten in touch with a developer or at least a designer who knows or who has worked on e-commerce stores and knows how to make things look really nice, not spammy, very clean, legitimate. Because there is this inclination to put like sales everywhere and put like trust banners everywhere. But I would contact someone who knows about e-commerce design and development and really just consult with them. Even if you're going to do it yourself, how should I do this correctly? And maybe it is a little bit of character, I don't like to give up. I never gave up in anything. I was successful in different things before that, whether it's academically or whether it was in software, but never in making money online. And I just figured out that it was a lot simpler than I thought, and it wasn't, it was possible. And after figuring that out, obviously I went on like a rampage, basically. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. I think, making money online is amazing opportunity, and you don't really have to even make, like, people say, oh, I want to make 500K per month. Well, that's unrealistic, right? If you want to make maybe 5K per month or even 1K per month extra, then that's realistic, right? And 1K per month extra is a lot. That can pay, like, your rent in some places, or it can contribute to your rent or contribute to your bills. So I don't get why people...
Give you the experience.
People are hoping... And even if you make 1K per month in the beginning, imagine, like, you can start making 1K and you can make more later. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you start with something.
What is the beginning, Kyle? How much time would it take to make 1K? Not for everyone, it happens in the first month.
Yeah,
you might have to work 3 to 6 months just to get to that first point.
That is a good point. But then these people, I hope they don't quit their jobs, I hope that they're still employed and they're working on that on the side. Because 6 months, if you're getting a salary income, and then you're also making 1K as well, that's pretty good, let's be honest. And then you can wait kind of, until you start making more money. But, I think finding a niche, having the development skills, having the design skills, and again, not giving up is really just the keys to success. I mean, I was successful off the bat. A lot of that is luck, right? Who knew that I would be able to purchase a shout out for a page that had 1 million followers for $100? Like, how much do they charge now? Who knew in my exact niche? Who knew that I'd be able to find the exact video with an offer of free just pay shipping? A lot of it is just luck. It's luck and it's hard work. But at the end of the day, you need a bit of both to succeed in business, and that's just the truth.
I think that you can also say that you have some of that special spice, because after all, you did leverage that into a software business as well, which is
I don't know if I would have been successful anyway. It's hard to say, this is survivor's bias, right? when you watch a lot of these interviews that I made 1 million or I made 2 million or I made this, these are the people who succeeded. You don't look at the people who failed. And I do admit that, it's for everybody. I just want to caution them, to do your own research and do it carefully instead of, being like me. I've always been somebody who just takes the initiative and just likes to jump in and go straight in and do it, versus teetering around the bush or doing too much research. But now that I'm in a better position, obviously I do my research and I do things properly. But, I love trying different things, and I think, you should try dropshipping because there's not really that much that you can lose, to be honest, compared to starting a retail store. In London here, how much does it cost to start a retail store? Do you know? It's a lot of money. You'll get into debt, and maybe you will have to put your house or sell your house in order to start a retail store. Versus dropshipping, maybe you'll lose $500, which again, relatively, it's a big difference.
Let me finish this interview with a question, which is a recommendation, and I ask it almost anyone that comes on the show and comes from a different industry to eBay dropshipping. The eBay dropshipping industry is fairly tiny,
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, for those beginners, I want to explain the business model, and then I want you to tell me if you would support it and why.
Okay.
The idea behind the business model of eBay dropshipping is to use the business model is actually not called business eBay dropshipping. It's more correct to call it online arbitrage or dropshipping arbitrage or retail arbitrage. There's just so many ways to say that. And the idea is that the main thing about it is that you can start it without the prior investment, not only in inventory like you do in dropshipping on Shopify, but also without the advertising budget.
Yeah, because you're listing on eBay.
In order to make. Exactly. And how do you feel about the idea of starting from there and then growing from it? I mean, if you start from there, then what would you suggest people to do once they start making profits in order to grow? Because the downside of eBay dropshipping is that you're far more limited in scale. Like you said, $1,000 per month, that's like a really good store on eBay dropshipping, profit, pure profit that you can make. And then let's say that you started from it. Do you think it's a good idea to start from it? And if yes, then how can you from there grow into other business models like Shopify dropshipping in a proper way that is not very high risk?
So let's discuss, first of all, the ethics of arbitrage, because a lot of people ask me, isn't this unethical, you're adding da-da-da-da. But basically every single business in the world adds a markup to their products, right? Nike shoes cost maybe $16 to make, and you're buying them for $180. To say that you can buy a product, from a company, the reason that you're paying the markup is to support the company so they can give you more and more better stuff. You might not have ever seen that product, ever. And the thing is we're providing a brand experience. We're providing customers, to see the products that they've never seen before. On eBay dropshipping, the markups are tiny. It's only 10-20% compared to Shopify, where it's 3x, 4x, which is insane. But specifically regarding eBay dropshipping, I think it's great. And I think it's a very super, super beginner method. It's even more beginner maybe than Shopify dropshipping. And it's a long game, right? It's kind of like SEO. You have to list your products correctly. I'm not an eBay dropshipping expert, but I was looking into it. And in terms of a residual or passive income, I think it's more so than, for example, Shopify dropshipping, because eBay takes care of most of the stuff for you. And in terms of Shopify, you have to play a very big active role in maintaining the business. So I would say, if you're a conservative person, if you're a risk-averse person, and you don't have that much money to spend, you should try eBay dropshipping. I know this girl who I used to watch her YouTube channel. She is from London, and she is a working class university girl, and she makes about $3,500 per month. eBay dropshipping, I mean, the profit is going to be less than that, but still, that's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah. And if it's that extra $700 a month pocket money, then I think that's great.
You're
Specifically,
talking about Meg Ryan, right?
yeah, I mean, if you're going to get that, it's experience that you're getting as well, right? You're getting experience selling online, and you can leverage that experience. If you really want to start your brand after that, do it. Do it on Shopify. Do it properly. What I'm advocating is for people to start their own businesses and not give your customers, for example, Jeff Bezos of Amazon and stuff like that. eBay is different because eBay is not like a business that's really taking over. It's like kind of like, So I agree with the eBay dropshipping business model. I think it's always good to get some kind of e-commerce experience, and I think it's less risky, less investment, and it's more of a long haul game. You have to wait longer till you get results. So obviously it's not as hyped as Shopify dropshipping, because Shopify dropshipping you get results, like I said, in the first month. With eBay dropshipping, it's harder to do that. So I think if there was like a table of risks and benefits, people can make their own choice what they want to do. Obviously, I advocate for Shopify dropshipping. I like risk. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I like to, do things that are exciting for me. And for me, Shopify dropshipping is what I would say. But at the end of the day, eBay dropshipping is still a great dropshipping business model.
Amazing. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to finish with this one. I just have to ask another question. So there are a lot of people who do eBay dropshipping that listens to this interview, and they want to now get started with Shopify, and maybe they are interested in using SaleSource for that. So what would you say are the best steps? To just go sign up and then you will start getting emails with information and guides how to, or like what's the best approach?
I would say the main thing and the first thing to start with SaleSource is to have an idea of what you want to sell on Shopify. Maybe create your store, have a look around at the other stores, and then as soon as you realize that you want to start knowing how much these other stores are making, you want to start knowing what the cheapest suppliers are, then you can start with SaleSource and actually use that tool to get that information. Now, obviously, SaleSource is not going to be a tool for everybody. Maybe some people think they don't need it. And if you want to start a store without SaleSource, I think that's fine. But I honestly think, if you really want the intel, if you really want to do it properly, if you really want to do your research and start a proper online business and increase your chance of success, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that you should be trying SaleSource. I mean, with all of these benefits and all of these features, if you try it for 7 days and you don't like it, we'll give you your money back. I have no problem. We don't have a cash flow issue. We have a lot of customers using the platform. We just want you to try it and see, how cool is this? Understand that you can actually find out how much these stores are making, what apps they have, what products are selling, what are their best-selling products in order, like the number one bestseller, the number two bestseller, what theme do the stores have, which are the cheapest suppliers so I can maximize my profit, how can I get my customers this same product with a supplier who has USA shipping so that they can get the product really quick. If you want to know that, then you can use SaleSource. Other than that, we have our YouTube channel. Persia's our host on there, and she makes some great videos on how to start dropshipping, and you can see demos of the tools there. If you're a bit apprehensive and you want to find out, more about how the tool works. And yeah, we don't sell any courses. We're fully open to just giving you the product to try, and if you don't like it, obviously you can have your money back. So, that's it.
Kyle, I really appreciate. I don't take it for granted, and I think that no one that listens to this show should take it for granted that someone that have already made probably millions of dollars from his businesses is sharing his personal story and personal experience with a lot of how-tos and a little bit of like ideas that I hope that will inspire people on how to take those steps.
And thank
until
you for
the next time we meet.
Inviting me, yeah. And until next time, thank you.
Bye bye.